Welcome back, everybody. We are in the College COD Summer Cup. We're just going to do all the things in one word, apparently. And all of it presented, of course, by eFuse. Grand Finals now on the docket. Ottawa Black coming out of the winners' finals. SEU Blue hungry for a bit of revenge. And, well, I would imagine, have been appetized by their convincing win over Purdue in the lower finals. So we'll see, because when we had a chance to watch these two teams play each other just, not too long ago, about an hour, 2 hours ago or so in the winners' finals, we asked the question, could SEU Blue hang with the slaying prowess that we see out of Ottawa Black? And proper, we got our answer. They could, just maybe a touch underwhelming on some of the respawns, which allowed them only one map in the series.
About 65% they could hang with it, right? Apart from that, Noisy started to get warmed up throughout the series. You had
That's fair,
Fame
yeah.
just dropping numbers that they were just had no business doing as well. And then you also have Cruelty working their way out of very sticky situations. I mean, there's a reason why we talk about both Ottawa Black and Gold rosters to such a high regard. Again, very respectable top amateurs here in the North America scene as a whole. But then you got knocked down to the lower bracket if you are the Hilltoppers. And then a certain amount of confidence started to get grown after they lost the Moscow hardpoint to Purdue. From there on out, we're starting to see Eons fly through the map, take themselves a lot of challenges that we did not see across the entire weekend. If they can play with that same sort of ferocity, just keep the front line away from Thresh, keep the ARs away from Thresh, and allow him to drop numbers, that's a recipe for success if I've ever seen one.
Agreed. And I would say just beyond that, we didn't really get a chance to talk over the map set, but there is no Moscow hardpoint in the rotation, which I imagine would be good news for SCU Blue overall. So taking a look to see how things unfold, it'll be Raid for map number 1. Crook able to put himself up top in the laundry. Nice double for him to counteract the initial kills for Ottawa. And with that, SCU Blue, a chance to still contest this first hardpoint time.
Yeah, Kirk was also one of those guys in that Purdue best-of-5 series that was really stepping up to the plate. They also had a great search and destroy on Moscow, but again, that's not inside this map set, and you got to somehow make this happen on hardpoint, where Noisy was just licking their lips, waiting to play this best-of-5 series versus SUE Blue. Still holding on to the favorite side is Ottawa Black, with scrap time remaining on side of P1, and they hold middle of the map as well.
That's pretty big overall, though. I mean, considering the even trades that came through for the Hilltoppers, Ottawa still salvaged what needed to be a clean hold of at least the spawns coming up next in the next 7 seconds for Kitchen. So far, so good. Thresh on the way in. Noisy good for 1. Finessing around the pillar, but Thresh deals with it. Also finds Fame caught with an 8 out in hand. Now turning his attention, gets a read that Cruelty is actually playing from the money window. And it does look like Fame still spawns over by Basketball, which is going to be a bit puzzling. We don't see that spawn all that often, but Thresh completely cracked out. 4 kills in a row. He is the sole remaining Hilltopper inside the hard point, and Fame will make sure he puts an end to the spree. Ottawa back at a time.
SUE Blue are going to try to hit this one more time from the front. They deal with open staircase, and that's a big kill to find, but they lost a number along the way. This little brief of hesitation, do we just play for the rotation? Do we break it one more time? We're waiting for numbers. That gives a lot of time for Ottawa Black to set up for this upcoming hit.
One player moving all the way around the back, that's Eons. He could block spawns, but now the entirety of the break would rely on him. And he finds 2. Crook from the side window, looking to take care of Cruelty, pistol in hand. I think he thought Cruelty was a lot weaker than he was, but the favorable spawn for Thresh means that the scrap time will go the way of the Hilltoppers. Over towards the 1v1 now, over to New. Lightning currently by himself, waiting for help, but help is not quick to be here. Fame is doing what he can to come on in, and does find an elimination right through Gymnasium. Now the numbers in a 2v2. Early time going to be contested here. Fame waiting for the regen. Catches 1 right in front of him, looking for more behind it, but Crook, with the favorable spawns on AC, is able to win the gunfight, and SEU technically win the initial portion of this hardpoint.
And the close spawns should be able to reinforce the hill, but you're not exactly going to have a good line of sight to be able to deal with these Black Fan head glitches and top-down fights that you're working with from Ottawa Black, working back in from the driveway side. So it's still a very contested hardpoint. Finally, Ottawa Black will be able to surface themselves that break and will solidify themselves in getting a significant amount of time. But SUE Blue still have 2 players pushed up forward. They know Ottawa Black still hold these spawns, so they're going to hit it one more time and try to keep it contested as they hold the rotation towards 4.
Yeah, this 18 seconds are actually pretty massive, especially if you're SEU Blue, trying to make sure that this game doesn't turn into a runaway. So decent from Relk to at least contest some of the time, but after the electric start from Cruelty at 10-3, Ottawa are enjoying a right around 60-point lead. Turning our attention over towards Basketball, though. We love to see this in the Hilltoppers. Eon's mid-map trying to zone things out. He does lose his other SMG player of Crook. So it really will be on Eons here to try to read how this play is going to unfold. Finds one, trying to turn for it is Noisy and does get the trade. Rest of the hit for Ottawa Black now starting to amount from the backside of Laundry, but the spawns for their squad are actually over towards Bedroom. And that might not be bad at all because now you've got an opportunity to hit from multiple sides. The spawns will be flipped, and now a chance for Ottawa to break on in, and they do so very quickly. Nice take from Ottawa here on the 4th.
Yeah, I mean, that was just great manipulation of the map in regarding to how the time just works. You're spawning all the way across the entirety of the map, so you slowly start taking away these power positions, one through kitchen, then through the pool side, you wrap back through jungle, spawns flip. Now we just have to work our way inside the hard point, and that is just so annoying if you're SEU Blue, because you did have the setup initially. You just got to win the upcoming gunfights. You should break back in for the scrap time, but those post spawns from Ottawa Black, they just have to walk down one spiral staircase, and they will re-break this hard point for the scrap of scrap time. Time that SEU Blue desperately needed, but we talked about this earlier in the winners finals. They can have as many breaks as they like. Ottawa Black are so quick to be able to pounce on top of it and upset a lot of these holds that SEU Blue are looking for, and they just very rarely break inside the hard point setups that Ottawa Black are playing with.
Yeah, and I'll say at least SEU is able to marginalize some of the break that came through from Ottawa Black there with just how they were able to retake for a moment. So 66 plays 114, here to the 5th hard point. It's basketball spawns for SEU, split spawns for Ottawa. But can they actually get into a position to fully hit this from 3 sides at once? Because you do have Eons watching over towards open stairs. Crook able to get an AR in hand, tries to spam through the Zig area, but it's Relk who's going to be required to find the trades, and boy does he. SMG to also play with, trying to get some free fire into the mix. Ottawa Black trying to flood on forward from Z. Lightning through, not going to be able to find a first elimination. Thresh tag down low, but still pops up to find Cruelty. Noisy down into the hard point itself, though, will turn the tides of this hard point into a white color, and that'll be enough for Ottawa Black to take the majority of the scrap time.
But still able to claw their way back were the Hilltoppers throughout the first set of hills. I mean, Ottawa Black, they were holding about a 70, a whole hard point over top of the adversaries of SUE Blue throughout the entirety of that, but you were able to scratch your way towards a 91-point value for SUE Blue. Still have a lot of middle map coverage. Did not fully expect that hit through back Laundry. Did out Ottawa Black. So now you're spawning over by Driveway, and SUE Blue looking to hold the line here on Ridge.
Tough game so far for Lightning. The only bit of good news is the fact that he does have 54 seconds for the squad, but if he could pick things up, this game could start to get out of hand. But SEU, not wanting that to happen, have a nice hold on what's coming here in the back 30 seconds of this first hard point. Around the back, though, Lightning, he's taking the shots. He's giving away his position. And with the spawn from Relk being all the way over towards Driveway, there should be some information here for SEU Blue that this back area of Laundry is open. Lightning for 1, Lightning for 2. He gets away with a lot more than you would have thought based on the fact that his initial engagement went away from him. Eon's good for a double, though, in response, and that'll be SEU Blue bringing this game to within 16 points.
Brings it in within 16 points, but with Lightning buying space in the back of Laundry and the push to the middle of the map being secure for Ottawa Black, they'll be here for the initial time of 2. So now SUE Blue, again, one of their biggest problems all weekend long is breaking inside hardpoint, specifically this one here on Raid. You got players inside a jungle. They're going to get challenged by Crook, is able to find the first. Where do you spawn now if you're Ottawa Black? Do you still continue to spawn in? Holding the kill cam, they will. The rest of the fight's not going as well as SUE Blue had hoped, as Ottawa Black will secure the opening 20 seconds.
A solid start, though, I would say, in the second rotation, being able to soak up a lot of the time on the first hard point, but we keep mentioning for SEU Blue, some of the unfamiliarity moments of this Hilltopper squad is showcasing itself when they tried to break, and a lot of it is just on heroics. Thresh able to kind of tell us that as he finds a double, but Noisy after some help from Cruelty will not just find 2, he'll grab a 3rd, Cruelty cleans up the 4th, and that will be a very solid majority of the 60 seconds here on Kitchen going the way of the Braves.
And they're already starting to threaten the rotation as well. Crook is actually going to spawn in, and Lightning's going to be able to convey that to their teammates and still wins the gunfight. So this is going to be effectively a 3v3 for the hard point in the initial time here on 3. Do lose 1. Rock was able to lock down that first kill, but they still have Crook spawning all the way out. But SUE Blue, when the initial hit started to come through, barring a team kill, are able to deal with Ottawa Black at the front.
Full flood, though, going to be coming forward from AC. This should block the spawns from SEU. Lightning trying to get a shot punch off, but doesn't get the reload off in time, and Ottawa will still hold from inside Garage. Break now going to be a requirement here for SEU Blue. You cannot allow this Ottawa Black squad to get above 200 points off this hard point. So big gunfight still to be there. AC spawns. Fame will turn that into a double. Lightning really heating things up. He went from 4 and 16 to 10 and 20. So a much better response from him, and still over a minute of hard point time will get Ottawa above the 200-point threshold, and beyond that, actually. They're going to be able to get this to about closer to 215, which would be massive with their ability to try to put this game away with one good break.
Yep, one good break is what they're going to need. It took them about 30 seconds for the setup going in towards 4, force out the team kill from Cruelty, and Crook still wins the gunfight versus Austin as well. So that's big as far as the rotation is concerned. That's going to slow up the pace for Ottawa, trying to move their way quite literally across the entirety of the map. So the setup for 4, it's got to be a big one. SUE Blue, you need a full 60 here, uncontested, some would say. But the push from Ottawa Black is setting up on the backside of Landrion.
Relic over the backside, good for one. Not going to be able to get the better of the second. Good double challenge coming through for Ottawa. But has SEU Blue recognized where the threat's coming from? A really terrible spawn for Relic with a play around the back from Noisy. He's going to have to get on his high horse and move with Thresh. Oh my goodness! Whoa. What a snapper that is. Sure, of course, Ottawa break onto the hard point, but at least Thresh does enough to allow a chance for SEU Blue to still contest with some numbers. With that said, the SMGs light things up in the front door. Eon's trying to crack the egg, gets on through for one, and he finds himself a second and a third. Unbelievable from Eons, and the break will be here for SEU Blue to extend this to another hard point.
I'll extend it going over towards 5 in Ottawa Black. They're sending their numbers off of spawn over by Ring to try to reinforce this area. But SUE Blue, they should have kitchen control. Trying to work their way out. Eons is not done yet, trying to bring, so a lot of value for their team is on a 4 streak. If you can get score streaks towards the tail end, going in towards another P1 and break this hill, it would be massive, but a tall ask here for Eons.
Break has to be good. Lightning sees Eons over the top, 15 shots coming through. Thresh for one, not able to get a second. Relic in a 1v2 to finish things off, and Noisy takes the challenge, wins it. 2:40 on the clock now for Ottawa Black. One more attempt from SEU. They're going to have to largely do this through kitchen. Fame watching, finds one. The spam shots are just too good from Ottawa Black, and the Braves able to come out on top in map number 1. And it just felt like maybe a little bit too slow of a wake up from SEU Blue once again in the hard point.
Yep, it just could not find any sort of strides whatsoever, and it's not for a lack of trying. I mean, they did have a multitude of setups through the first set of hills, but it was just constant berating from the submachine guns of Ottawa, specifically of Noisy through that first set of hills. It was just a dog off the chain. You just could not keep Noisy locked down. But once the AR started to find themselves a certain amount of spacing, once Thresh started to find themselves a significant amount of value across whatever lane that they were spawning adjacent to, that it started really opening up a lot more of those confidence gates that we were talking about for Eons, and then they were able to work their way in, find themselves some juicy 2 pieces, that 3 piece there at 4 as well. All has to be consistency, though, for SUE Blue, and that's been their biggest problem for Hardpoint, especially versus a team like Ottawa Black. We say SUE Blue, they played very fast on that checkmate Hardpoint versus Purdue, but it's a whole different pace measure when we're talking about this Ottawa roster.
Yeah, it's a tough, tall task, I would say, to come through for St. Edwards, with the recent formation of this squad to take on your number 2 team from the CCL throughout, realistically, every major tournament that we've seen this Ottawa school play at. So, again, not out of the running at any point, we're St. Edwards, but for SEU Blue, you need to find a way to continue to be good in the search and destroy. They won the round 11 versus Ottawa Black in the winners finals. Now, granted, that was on Moscow. Coming off of the lower finals matchup, though, the Hilltoppers looked great in the Express search and destroy. Can they find a way to replicate? I think, though, is the bigger question. And you have to feel pretty confident to kind of lean towards yes, just due to the fact that you're seeing a lot of good participation from Eons and Crook, and Thresh continues to top frag every single map for his squad.
It was in that Express Search and Destroy, though, that Purdue were giving a lot of unforced errors. They were giving away a lot of early first bloods. And the thing that if you go back to that winners finals match between St. Edwards University and Ottawa Black on that Moscow Search and Destroy, a lot of those earlier rounds for St. Edwards were won because Ottawa Black were, again, getting aggressive. This St. Edwards University roster, by no stretch of the imagination, want to be the aggressor. They want you to make the play happen, and they will gun you from afar. Triple Creek setup is what we're typically going to see from this roster of SUE Blue in a lot of different instances of this Express Search and Destroy to punish a lot of the aggression that you'll see out of players like Fame, Lightning, and Noisy from this Ottawa Black roster. But at the same point in time, if they do start to slip the net, you can find some timings around the train, around some of the info booth center, where you can start getting really, really weird with some of the nuances that we have on Express Search and Destroy. That's what's still going to be my biggest fear for this SUE Blue roster on a map that they look so strong on, because the SMGs were absolutely flourishing for Ottawa Black. They can continue to do that same here on this map mode.
And you're just kind of wonder, is a lot of the success that we saw from the Hilltoppers off the back end of the ace that we saw from Crook in round number 2, plus that came after 3 straight kills in round number 1. Like, he had full streaks by round 3. Now, the thing is, we never really needed to see those actually come out. Like, they was so dominant from St. Edwards that the streaks were really a non-factor in the end. But it just goes to show that if this team can get off hot in a search and destroy, They're not quick to look back. And we did see that for a moment. Again, they started up 3-0 against this Ottawa Black team on that Moscow. Ottawa was able to bounce back and tie things up through 6. But from there on out, it was just a back and forth affair. Both teams taking some pretty big, heavy haymaker hits at one another. So I'm really curious, swapping the venue from Moscow to Express between these two schools, who's going to be able to come out on top of this one. So a lot of things that we've kind of thrown out there for maybe hopefully you guys out there to kind of grab onto and maybe take 1 point to run away with to see what exactly the X factor of this map will be. Of course, we will go back to raid for the control for map number 3. We've already seen the checkmate hard point at least be played by this SEU squad. That looked great there. That would be there for map number 4 if this Hilltopper squad can find a way to either win here on the search and destroy or find a way to take away that map 3 raid control. Of course, you see it on the back side of the screen. Miami would be there for the 5th. Big key if you're joining us late, though, is the simple fact that this is not just a best of 5 that SEU Blue needs to win right here. They would have to win a second, seeing this Ottawa Black is coming from the winner's bracket.
And you got to think it's got to start at the search and destroy. The hard points have been definitely a weak point for this SUE Blue roster, especially against higher caliber teams. We saw at the beginning of Purdue in that best of 5 and lower finals. They were able to clean things up on checkmate, sure, but against Ottawa Black, as far as how those 2 hard points went, it was definitely a pace difference. But when you can end up really leaning back on some of that teamwork that we've been seeing happen for this team, again, they just met each other in person on Thursday. Who's to say that we're not legitimately seeing the teamwork be formed and the small talk also being refined as we are watching them compete through this entire weekend? There is the potential for this team of the Hilltoppers to be able to light things up through the upcoming 2 maps and really catch Ottawa Black off guard leading into that hard point. But I think it's got to be 2, 3, and 5 if you are looking for, as a fan, for the Hilltoppers to win that raid control would be massive. And of course, the search and destroys, that's been your bread and butter.
Yeah, if you're looking at the 2, 3, 5, I think that's pretty fair. And if that were to be where it goes down to, you still have a pretty favorable map 4 just based on what we saw them do versus Purdue. So there is some extra life built into maybe the lungs of SEU to get into the mix and maybe send this to a second best of 5. But you've got to get through the search and destroy first and foremost. Ottawa Black in the white and yellow. On the offense first, making a play initially over towards A. Defensively, Kruk is here. And he's going to be able to find first blood onto Fame. This is the same start that he kind of had from before when they played against Purdue. A good first kill, and Ottawa Black going to have to hit the brakes just a touch here to see if they can maybe find an isolated kill somewhere.
Yeah, and you can see how they're still set up. Cruelty's waiting for a push through all the way from Departures. It's not going to come through. So now you got to brute force your way through Train. Noisy does answer back onto Kruk, making this a 3v3. But the defense for the Hilltoppers have all come back over towards A. So you're going to throw a Semtex if you are Noisy. And this is a great call. Wrap all the way back because Cruelty has not seen a single soul come out from Departures.
The thing about this is Cruelty is only here to watch the flank, so he's got no information if anyone's pushed up in towards B, which could be a possibility. So the bomb is going to rotate with these double subs to clear out the overpass staircase. Now in towards Ticket they go. Obviously a lot of consideration of who could be watching the long cross from the trains. And it looks like Lightning will start to realize that, yeah, this is a free plan. SEU looking to essentially force the play for the 3v3 retake, and now they'll get a lay of the land and try to make their move.
Now look at the post plants here. You're watching Rivals, you're watching the exit from the staircase as well. It's going to have to be a 3-prong attack if you're SUE Blue. They're hitting it from all different sides, but Noisy is taking this engagement versus Rock. That's a great first kill to solidify the post plant.
Yeah, and Eons is also pushed back. Thresh misses the timing on the Lightning, takes the second shot, able to find the kill, nearly gets an opportunity to find Noisy as well. Time becoming a bit of an issue. 17 seconds on the clock. Thresh re-wrapping all the way around the back. He doesn't have time to make this play happen. Simply put, you just don't. Eons will have the opportunity to find one, but now there's no time to defuse. Noisy will make sure nobody's on it. And at this point, it's just down to what do you find for some consolation kills. They'll go 1 for 1, and Ottawa will take the first round.
That would have been big, though, if Noisy was able to clean that up via kills. Yeah, the potential to talk about some streaks would have been on the cards, but regardless, yeah, I mean, when Ottawa Black, they got over towards the site, even in a 3v3 when Noisy did, even the odds through Train. It was just that little bit of hesitation coming through, and that's the disjointment that we're going to continuously talk about. A team that has a lot of time spent together, a team that just recently formed, and a team like Ottawa Black that's full of some of the top AMs in this entire region. So when you do hesitate like that, you start to recognize, hey, I don't necessarily have the time to make that play happen. Although the flank play might have been good, the clock is always going to be your biggest problem. So SUE Blue, you got to resurface themselves with an offensive round win, and just barreling your way through the main hall is not going to be the way to do it.
Bomb left in the middle of the map. 2v4 that has to be navigated here for Kruk and Relk. And really, they can't even play for the bomb yet. You got to play for kills. And they do find Noisy, who maybe overstayed his welcome up top. Cruelty inside a Ticket with Fame. defending over the B bomb site, and Lightning will actually kind of take Noisy's place, just making sure the rotation to A doesn't come through freely. If he goes 1-for-1, that might just be win condition for the entirety of the round. Obviously, he recognizes that, and it looks like Ottawa are going to be happy to allow the Hilltoppers to make the first move.
That's just a smart call. I mean, the Hilltoppers, they have to make the move. 40 seconds is where they're going to start making it happen. The flash will come through departures, but it seems to be a little bit of a bait to try to move their way over towards A, but nobody read that Lightning was in this lurking position. They found the first onto Kirk, just finessing their life. Relk has no idea where they went to, and some opposite shots on the opposing side. Does find Fame, but that's all they'll find in that round.
Not gonna lie though, the predictive shots were nearly good enough on the second burst to find a second kill. But yeah, that's just a really good kind of overall just playing with numbers here if you are Ottawa Black. Double stack up the middle. We saw Noisy actually make this play happen in NA championships for the Challengers finals run in playoffs. He did it a couple of different times. I believe it was actually in the group stage where Unexpress, he and his squad were kind of double stack over, allowing Noisy a chance to get freed up in the mid map. And I wouldn't be surprised if that was his play call there saying, hey, come with me. Let's make sure nobody hits me from the trash cans and we'll be good to take over the middle of the map. Indeed, that would be the case. So 2-0 up Ottawa Black. SEU double stacking SMGs up top, but they don't read Noisy, who did the exact same move on the opposite side. He gets a double, and Ottawa Black in a prime position to get a plant off here at A.
And you look where Thresh and Relk are at on the mini-map. They're all the way back there by their catwalk, and well, Fame's just gonna find themselves this time. I mean, here's some shots. Thresh was mid-reload. Good luck, have fun on that one. Relk is gonna throw some shots. Fame, hey, what are you doing back here? This is my side of the map. Noisy for the first and for the last two. It's things like that. Again, I brought up this narrative in Winners Finals that any one of these four players for Ottawa Black, if they're put in a situation where they're like, oh, they just simply can't find that two-piece. No, they absolutely will here in the CCL. They totally will, and you just can't give themselves that opportunity. The trade had to come through in top maps when it simply didn't. The only people that were left alive were the ARs pushed all the way back on the catwalk. Oh, man, that was just such a and coordinated and aggressive hit from Noisy up in that area.
Yeah, and that's one of those moments that you just have a small conversation between Crook and Eon saying, okay, one of us needs to watch that window next time around. Who's it going to be? So maybe lesson learned there. Eons turns this into a first blood, though, in round number 4. That's through the info booth. Over into Cruelty. So space to work with that B, but the bomb is not actually a part of this initial hit. They were kind of waiting to see maybe what they were going to find. Eons is the one carrying. And in the time that they had found first blood and not gotten a plant off, Ottawa Black has kind of opened up space to work with on the flank as they turned into a 3v3.
Hey, you're more or less just going to be trapped here as well. If you are SUE Blue, yeah, Eon's trying to go for the plant, but again, that flank play, now you're trapped in this B bomb site like rats. You're trying to work your way across the courtyard. Fame through a couple shots. That was towards Crook. It's about cleaning up from here on out. Nice little turn on to Noisy. They know where Crook is located at inside of that staircase area, and Ottawa Black able to capitalize off, again, just a little bit of hesitation coming through from SUE Blue. They found that first blood. They tried to slow roll their way towards B, but as they're slowly rolling, just making sure every single cobweb is clean on every single corner of that area, it gave Ottawa Black the opportunity to pinch from all different sides and trap them in there.
All right. Solid start here for Ottawa. I mean, there have been responses thrown in the mix for SEU, but it's only marginal success so far, and you cannot ride off of that marginal success. You've got to come out with something convincing here. Do not want to go down 0-5 and have to force a full sail. Relk Eons, they've played this position before. This time, though, Lightning and Fame ready for it. Find a 2-for-1 exchange in Ottawa. Now an opportunity to play wherever they want. I mean, yeah, sure, B, of course, because you just found 2 kills around the site, but they could actually flip this all the way through the defensive spawn if they wanted to take a look at A.
Yeah, you could push through rivals. I mean, you can see Lightning just on the minimap alone. I mean, they're just throwing shoulders at this continuously. We don't get challenged through 4 shoulders, and there it goes. There's the confirmation. Let's wrap all the way through. Where Crook is located at inside of tickets, you're not going to end up seeing them do this rotation, and Thresh is on the complete opposite side of this. And they might even find some of the best timing or the worst timing. They have no idea that this rotation is happening. They just have to play this line and play for the retake.
Tall ask. Lightning on 4. We'll get the bomb planted. Fame also on 4. They'll be kind of watching over the top of them, at least to play maybe trades. Again, at this point, kill streaks are kind of negligible when you're looking at a score deficit that is a 5-0 tally maybe on the cards. But if there were 2 players that have looked good so far in the search, it would be these 2 guys here for SEU, although Fame catches Crook just a bit off guard, and then Thresh, no chance against the sub through the train, and Ottawa Black up 5-0 And I would say, I mean, you mentioned it. I think you were right. 2-3-5 needs to be favorable for SEU. And, well, they can't even put together a round here yet versus Ottawa Black squad.
Even when they get the first blood, they still can't put the round together.
Yeah.
And that's what's just so struggling. You're trying to retake the A bomb side with a numbers disadvantage. You're hoping that maybe you can find a trade to make the entry a little bit easier, but it's just not going to be the way that Ottawa Black have been setting up these post plants and the way that they're retaking when SEU Blue think that they have a bomb site. So you're moving your way towards a lot of coverage to the middle of the map. That's going to be Noisy pushing all the way forward. You talked about it. They love this positioning. They might find some timing on at least a few.
This comes down to the timing here as Thresh is obviously pretty aware that a playthrough mid-map could have occurred. There's a lot of things that he's responsible for here. Noisy, first couple of shots, able to find one. 1-for-1's fine. FFAR for Relk. Okay.
They'll stop.
That's fine with me. Bomb will flip back over to A, though, and now it's really on the Lightning. Cruelty is actually here, but mostly focused on what's coming through mid-map. Obviously, Crook is very aware that this could be a player hiding in the corner. Nades will come through. Trophy system is also down defensively. Apparently, Crook did not recognize that. Semtex will push him back from lockers, and now defensively, Ottawa Black should know this play is coming. Fame is on his horse to try to make his way through the middle of the map, and Crook fixes the incorrect position. Thresh up top, good for one on the trade. Cruelty, dicey situation, trying to hold his life, and Fame is here to help. There goes the trade. Everyone knows where Thresh is. Has to win an impressive 1v2 with not a lot of time to do it. Last-ditch hope and effort here. Full sale would have to be in the cards, and now there's not enough time to plant. You got to find both kills. He's not going to find even one of the two. So Ottawa Black, clean stuff coming through. 6-0 on the search and destroy, and they go up 2-0 in the series here in the grand final.
A decisive 6-0. I mean, there were a few rounds, maybe 2 rounds that we were seeing from SEU Blue that they really gave themselves a good opportunity. First bloods, coverage of across the entire site, but a lot of hesitation was still looming in the back line for SEU Blue, and it came back to hurt them continuously because this Ottawa Black across all 4 players just plays so fast until they don't need to anymore. That's what makes them such a scary team here in the CCL, is that they will run at you. They know that they might have the superior skill, but when you actually earn their respect, especially in a search and destroy, for them to play nutty corners like that and just debate out the timing, they'll absolutely do it because at the end of the day, it's a championship. They're playing for the money. They're playing for the bragging rights.
We'll see how things unfold. It's going to have to be a reverse sweep plus a second best of 5 if SEU want to come out and shock the CCL world here in their first attempt. And a raid control will be what's coming up next when we come back after the backside of this break. Don't go too far. Summer Cup Finals. More of it coming up after this. Welcome back. We're jumping on into map number 3, and it's all Ottawa Black through 2. SEU Blue now having to get it done on raid control. A map that these two teams had played in the winners finals. It did go all the way to round 5, which Ottawa eventually was able to steal away.
Yeah, in SEU Blue, they had their second offense a good look at actually fully capturing the B zone, but a little bit of that hesitation did come through, and that's when I really started to recognize it. But a great opening break. They have presence over by the A zone. Crook with the Krig 6 is also finding a lot of good kills on the backside of Laundry as well. So I believe that Ottawa Black are going to fully concede this A zone. They're going to go ahead and agree. Yeah, 60 seconds on the board. We don't want to lose more lives.
And unless they can find a way to get Crook down quickly and then maybe one more, there might be an opportunity to sneak in for a third tick progression contest, but it looks like Noisy being semtexed away from Laundry will say never mind. So 2 minutes on the clock, 2 life lead for SEU, and a 3-speed from Thresh, something that I think we've said maybe a little bit too much because it happens almost every single time he's alive, it feels like. Cruelty mid-map inside a kitchen, able to find one. Thresh happy to take one and then get away, and he's actually baited out Cruelty, who, that is not a red dot chase that you should be going after. Fame is a part of it, though, to find the trade, so streaks are cut short, but lives started to amount in favor of the offense of the Hilltoppers.
Got 2 FFARs on the field right now. I believe that Relk is sporting one. I believe Fame is sporting the opposite. Unless it was just picked up, but always fun to see a little different weapon meta, even though we're at the end of the Cold War tenure. Move our way over towards the B zone. Crook, what the hip fire is going to be able to take down Noisy via a headshot. And now Presence is here on the pool side. Thresh is pushing forward into basketball courts. The stack is in.
Looking pretty good. Just down to maybe one more contest that could come off the pinch. Eon's watching it. Maybe he misses the timing. No, he does find one elimination. Relk from behind, able to stay alive for a little bit longer than you would normally expected to. Then Eons will take a second elimination. Second tick of progress will follow in suit. Third one on the way. But at the moment, it is just Eons who is here. So an opportunity for Ottawa to come back through, try to recontest. Noisy making a play over through the outside by the cutout window, but it's completely denied. A full 4-man feed, and SEU Blue do take their first offense with some conviction this time around.
Yeah, and that conviction came through once the A zone was secured. You had players zoning away back. Laundry, what that provides is a lot of space in the middle of the map. Coming off of the spawn, SEU Blue, the Hilltoppers were able to fully capitalize on top of that. They cleared middle of the map one more time, and then a series of kills came through over by Tiki, just shutting all of Ottawa Black to spawn back jungle. From there on out, SEU Blue, they had the power positions. They were dealing with the pinches from open staircase, and Ottawa Black just couldn't work their way back in. A big light and day difference from what we saw on their previous offenses in winners finals between these two teams.
Thresh first blood as the full 4-man hit from Ottawa is making its move over towards A. And, well, even though they're not finding any kills, progress is still coming. And really, for SEU Blue, there's no one to jump on and contest unless you give up a key position, which Thresh will do, but doesn't make too much of a difference because the rest of the defense is starting to surround. But a first tick of progress has been confirmed, which honestly is not bad, considering that Ottawa Black has yet to find a single kill here on the attack.
So 3 AR setup, 1 FFAR, 2 Krieg 6s, and a 74U. Looking pretty darn good. Rough with this reflex sight FFAR. I don't know how you would shoot straight with that, but you do you, brother. And honestly speaking, they are finding a lot of work with it. Shutting down that A push, only got 1 tick. Also reading that, yeah, there's going to be another B committal, and they hit it together. Again, you tell me that this team has only been scrimming for such a small amount of days. That hit definitely argues otherwise.
It's looking really solid. Very convincing stuff coming through. 6 in a row for Thresh, 3 in a row for Relk. I mean, it's almost, you look at anybody on SEU Blue, and they've got streaks to work with, or at least killing sprees to potentially build towards. Thresh, though, this time, not able to catch Cruelty, who got a little bit of a G-slide off the bed. I wish I could get out of bed that fast in the morning. Lightning over to the outside. Opportunity to get on towards A. Able to win his gunfight with the help of Noisy, and that will be enough to likely add 60 seconds to the clock. But the big problem here is, yeah, you'll have a minute 40, but you're down 9 lives. So you're going to have to be clean as you rotate away from this A zone and start to turn your attention to B.
Yeah, being down 9 lives, you got to win 2 clean gunfights. Get 3 for 1 at the bare minimum. So that way, not only you can find space, but you can start evening up the life department. That's why you see Ottawa Black not trying to fly for middle of the map, not trying to fly for back launcher control. They're trying to see if they can bait out any Hilltoppers for engagements, but Cruelty gets some unfortunate timing top ring, will lose their life as Ottawa Black are trying to resurface themselves in the middle of the map to try to work towards B.
5 in a row for Relk. Still using this FFAR. And man, whatever is going to be put together here for Ottawa Black has to be good. And you are starting to get some significant progress through Kitchen. Yeah, it's going to be Lightning and Fame that are working together. They go 3 for 1, and then Cruelty deals with Relk over towards Bedroom. So yeah, 18 versus 11. If you look just at the scoreboard, that's not good news, but is right, because now all 4 members for the Braves can make their way forward. Lightning takes the challenge versus Kruk, wins it, and now progress starting to come out here on to B. Streaks coming through. Eons finds 1. That's actually inside a Kitchen, but can he get anyone on the point itself, because there are still Braves members here. They've survived through the streak. Noisy tallies up another elimination. First stick of progress confirmed, and the defense still has no legs to run with here. Eons on the flank has to make something happen from the backside, because there's nobody at all from the front. Eons for 1, stepping aside from it is Cruelty. He finds Relk. Second tick of progress is in. He could solo capture this. There's going to be a little bit of help from Lightning off the side, but Cruelty doesn't need it. Finds his 3rd. Help is still now here. The Braves, against such a huge life deficit, maybe a chance to convert, but Relk will give a bit of a calm.
Just a little bit of a calm, but Fame is still re-inserting themselves through Tiki. You got players coming up from open staircase. Another 3 down come through. You just need a little bit more progression. Team kill aside, Ottawa Black are going to be able to solidify that offensive round win from a steep life disadvantage. All it took was 1 clean gunfight. I said that it had to be 2 to even up the odds, but 1 clean gunfight that far towards Kitchen is going to mean that you're going to be able to get your presence over towards the B zone. And from there on out, SEU Blue just had to continuously throw numbers at it. I mean, for a breath of fresh air, they finally found it via Relk over by the long chairs. But because Ottawa Black were able to continuously put themselves through open staircase and top bedroom, they always had angles on SEU Blue trying to stabilize that defensive hold. Wonderfully played out from Ottawa Black off of a very tough start of getting that A zone.
Yeah, I mean, down 9 lives at one point in time. Eons, I think, was trying to swap weapon loadouts and didn't get in behind cover, nearly drops because of it. So Ottawa Black, a heroic offensive round, now looking to start to establish a little bit more defensive dominance, and they found it in these opening eliminations. Opportunity to make a play over into Art. Lightning's going to clear up some space, sees one, and not able to get the shot punch. Just the punch portion of it hits, but Fame capitalizes to find a trade onto Eons. Noisy has to back down from the open stairs, and SEU Blue will have a chance to set something up for a hit towards A.
It's going to be red control, and, well, you're going to be able to recognize this. Lightning's inside of pillars. You also have Cruelty on the backside of this zone as well. We'll deal with it in kind. So SUE Blue, now you will spawn adjacent towards the B zone, but you got players inside basketball court as well. But open staircase has been secured. Noisy's able to at least find a trade. You got to deal with Lightning inside of Tiki. Thresh will deal with it, but some would argue that it's a little bit too late. The numbers are just simply not here anymore.
It's tough. Both teams are a little bit stretched thin at the moment, but the kills are helping Ottawa's defense more than SEU can actually put together a substantial hit towards any of these zones. 30 seconds on the clock, and all four members spawning inside a bedroom means that it's going to have to be a play towards B. Lightning thinking this is the time for a pinch. He finds one. Doesn't love his health pool, so he backs away and trades places with Noisy, who tries to follow up on the same angle. But he's not going to be able to find anything there. So SEU Blue, 15 seconds on the clock, hedging all of their bets right here at B. There are numbers, but you've got to be able to take care of these players over towards the window because Lightning has a free angle, finds himself a second. Cruelty trying to work in from basketball, not going to find anything there, but Lightning able to get himself a third, fourth, and then a fifth looking for number 6. Eon's able to stall the clock, and with Ottawa Black spawning by Laundry, there is still a chance here that SEU Blue could convert.
And you can actually give up take progression here from Ottawa Black, right? So you can give yourself the setup. Look at player number 5 is moving their way all the way 4 bedrooms to try to pinch this on the opposite side. There's a lot of trust that the stack doesn't come through. The hit finally starts to come out from basketball courts, but you still have SUE Blue on the zone.
Whoa. And they will capitalize. Cruelty not able to get here in time with Noisy. Kills now starting to come into play as it's a 9 plays 14. Looks like Ottawa Black are happy to give away the 60 seconds in favor of holding on to a 5-life lead. But we've seen this story once before here, friends. So can Chapter 2 of an incredible comeback come into the play? Doesn't look so good as Fame has caused havoc in the spawns. Sure, Eons will get an impressive kill into Noisy on top of a Heady, but when you're playing 13v6, you just can't allow things like that to happen. So 35 seconds and one chance for SEU Blue to get a clean take and recovery of this A zone.
And within Fame's 5 streak that they're on right now, about 4 of those were kills in spawn of SUE Blue. And that's going to get in their heads because they're effectively trying to push out Red, still looking for Fame, who's playing for streaks, finds number 6. There's number 7. Artillery strike has been earned. Uh-oh is right, my friend. It's 2v11. You don't need the streaks to clean out this round if you are Ottawa Black. But you will put yourself up on championship point going in towards the next round, and you're going to have a series of streaks to help things out.
For what has been a pretty heavily offensive affair through the first 2 rounds. And realistically, I mean, that's a heck of an effort from SEU Blue with 4.6 on the clock to, in their only last-ditch effort, capture the B zone in full. But this play from Lightning, unbelievable stuff. And this is one of the reasons that we continue to talk throughout the entirety of the year. Like, if you're going to find success on the B zone, it has to be by way of clearing out some space mid-map, specifically in money window. So Lightning takes advantage of a key power position, moves forward, nearly gets streaks of his own. And Fame still on 7, still has the potential of actually grabbing a cruise missile, which for the offensive round is really the one that really is going to help you out when it comes to possibly capturing that B zone.
Got to win this defense if you are SUE Blue. You got to get through the streaks if you are SUE Blue. You will allow Fame to get this first one. Eons will throw some opening shots, but Fame is just trying to play their life. The solo player over here at B. Nobody inside cutout. Again, looking for this cruise missile, but all this time and space that has been provided, 2 ticks of progression over by A.
It's too free. I mean, you had to contest here. The thing is, you're giving away what will be streaks here because Fame, he just has to wait for a kill. I mean, if he was a part of that push, he would have earned the cruise missile just by progress alone. 2 ticks of progress is fine. Now Fame, there it is. Cruise missile has been earned. Oh boy, this is very dangerous now all of a sudden for SEU Blue, under the threat of being possibly swept 3-0 in this series. Progress starting to come through. Fame, 8 in a row, looking for maybe number 9. And he might just find it here. Kruk on the backside, not going to find anything there. Rogue sliding forward, able to at least force out a couple of trades. The first tick of progress is all that'll be there.
You're able to shrug them off, going back towards A. You just got to give this up if you are SUE Blue at this point in time. It's just 1 tick progression that you need. You just got to play for exit kills at this point. Just try to marginalize the loss of that A zone because it's just 2 ticks of progression that are needed for Ottawa Black. 1 clean break is what we saw. Lives don't matter for this team of Ottawa Black. 1 clean break is all they need. SUE Blue are able to clean up a lot of these exit kills. You also have Thresh looking for some spawn kills. That'll dwindle the numbers through the middle of the map, shaving some time off the clock.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think that's the big key. He finds a kill, but he also takes about 10 seconds away, which doesn't sound like much, but really it is when it comes down to hitting this B zone. The lightning over the middle of the map. He's been able to find one. Cruise missiles coming down. There is going to be one elimination onto Crook. That's from part of the Semtex of this. The main part of the missile not going to convert. And honestly, SEU Blue have not been able to be pushed out of Tiki whatsoever, so Fame has to do it the hard way. That's his second straight kill. Up top, though, Crook able to find the trade, but in the middle of the map, this is again, lightning in his window, finds more. 28 and 24. I'm looking for one more. Eon's tagged up. Noisy should be able to follow up, and does. And continuing to put pressure on his lightning over the middle of the map. He's going to stall these rotations defensively. Relk has to go absolutely huge if he wants to hold off this imminent push from Ottawa Black. Has to go with the angle from the front side of basketball. Now help starting to be here. Thresh is able to help out to make sure Noisy finds nothing, and all the streaks that have been called in amount to nothing at all. So 45 seconds on the clock, and SEU Blue have survived through the major resources of Ottawa.
Yeah, all the ordinances, all in the push that came through from the condo side, they're dealing with it, and they were able to deal with these players inside the kitchen. I mean, Lightning, Noisy, we're constantly seeing these players always try to cycle out inside a money window, because that is a very key focal point to be able to get this B zone in your favor. But now we're down to 25 seconds. This is about to be the last push for Ottawa Black. You have this back kitchen secured in your favor, but you still are struggling to work your way out of AC.
And Thresh is actually coming from behind this play. Kruk from the front have dealt with it. And that's every single streak off the table. That is unbelievable from SEU Blue. After what looked to be in the first 45 seconds of this map, a very convincing start for Ottawa. We're going to go to around 5. Cruelty's not going to be able to get there in time. No way. And with no score streaks available, I'll be really curious to see what exactly that's going to do as far as the status is concerned for this round 5, not just based on the fact that obviously with no specialists, or pardon me, no score streaks, you don't have that extra bit of help, but who starts where, I think, is still a question that needs to be considered.
Ottawa should have the defensive side, given how they're opening offense, and getting that 4 tick secured on B is how it should be playing out, and it will be the case. So SUE Blue, I mean, you almost have to think, trying to make this offensive round happen in round number 5, you were able to decisively make that magic happen in round number 1. Through the middle of the map was always being secured, but the biggest breath of fresh air for SUE Blue is you got the streaks off the cards, so you can really bulldoze your way towards one of these zones, but you gotta win the gunfights.
First couple of kills, evenly exchanged, but Relk turns the tides. SEU Blue, first tick of progress done. Player on the back, Relk has sniffed out that Lightning's playing off the flank, cuts him off from driveway. Pistol in hand, wins the gunfight, but from the front, Ottawa Black are able to kind of stall out some of the imminent progress as they find 2 kills of their own. Eon's still alive, though, finds one. Relk, significant damage, but Noisy with a Krieg and 11 HP gets the win. Now can play off the flank if he so chooses. Cruelty working the long route, maybe around the back of this, but it looks like largely Ottawa are going to be fine giving this away and trying to zone off the B point. Just comes down to, can Noisy find maybe a couple of kills to turn that around? No, not the case. Kruk and Thresh combined, and that'll be enough for the A zone in an extra 60 seconds.
Yeah, you just throw your last few lives away. I mean, say what you will, the 3-life lead for SUE Blue trying to sequence these few zones, but you guarantee that Ottawa Black will be spawning basketball court, so that way you can zone away inside a jungle, and you can start looking through money window in kitchen, because this is where SUE Blue were primed to be able to make that offensive push happen, is when they got the A zone secured, they got inside kitchen, they got the middle of the map, but they were not expecting that the flank was about to get fully flanked by Fame inside a kitchen as well. That push just got immediately put to rest. SUE Blue had a good look of things, but the way that Ottawa Black came from the setup off the respawns was just too much.
Well, as he wants to trace down Eon, Semtex coming through. Regen was just enough to survive through the gunfight. So Eons keeps the middle of the map open for contest. Lightning, though, prone, able to find Relk. Should be for free. But the trade will be there. So still the offense for SEU working forward. Fame denies any further pushes into kitchen. Kruk thinking hit maybe okay. We can do the exact same thing, but with a little bit of help from Thresh. Lives becoming a little bit more dwindled. 60 seconds on the clock, 17 playing 15, and really the status of the map hasn't changed. These trades are just queuing back and forth, and no one's making any moves.
It'll forever favor the defense. I know that SUE Blue still have the offense, but it's SUE Blue with this life lead that have to make the play happen significantly to get onto the zone. 2 for 2 trades are not going to cut it. There it is again, another 2 for 2. Players 2 and 3, Relk and Thresh, they're forced to just play in the middle of the map because they can't make an aggressive play happen through kitchen. If they go down here, it's just rinse, repeat, and we're going to waste another about 15 seconds on the clock to wait for the numbers to come through. Double challenge through the front door. It was actually about a quad challenge that came through, but it's another 2 for 2 trade.
But this is fine, though, because they do get a little bit further forward, and they forced Ottawa Black to spawn over towards Laundry. Time becoming a problem. 11v9. And the rewrap from Noisy around the back. Eon's going to read this. He does, but doesn't get the elimination, and that's all of the clearance that Ottawa Black may need to find a 3-0 sweep. Last-ditch effort. Last call. Thresh for a couple of kills may have opened up space for someone to touch. It just comes down to, can anyone from Ottawa come back over in time? 7 seconds on the clock. Last streak from Fame actually does connect on the rail. Fame finds more from the window. Lightning keeps him safe, and it's all down to Eons, who can do nothing but only find a single kill. It got dicey in round 5, but Ottawa Black again survived through it, and with that, they will be your Summer Cup champions with 3-0 on the cards for the first best of 5.
St. Edward's University roster gave them a run for their money, though, bud. I tell you that much. I mean, barring the 6-0 absolute barn burner with an express search and destroy here in grand finals, I'm pretty sure St. Edward's University gave Ottawa Black their only map loss across the entire weekend.
Fair, yeah.
What was it, back on the Moscow search and destroy just at the beginning of the day in winners finals. And I mean, let's be candid here. We saw throughout the entirety of the weekend this Hilltoppers roster progressively get better. We knew that they were good individually, but progressively as a core four, they were getting better. But again, when you're talking about the top echelon, the top 3 teams for CCL, it goes without saying the top 2 teams are both Ottawa Gold and Ottawa Black. Those are your top 2 teams for a distinct reason. They are very fast on the map. They're aggressive. They're decisive. Maybe they haven't been playing together as much as they have been since we, tucked away the CCL regular season. But even still, when you have individuals with such strength in between all 4 that are represented here on Ottawa Black, you get their comms moving. The vibes start becoming a little bit stronger. They just become so undeniable with how many of those hits came through, the breaks coming through in hardpoint, the setups as well, all the way down to the executes on that search and destroy. This was a very clean grand finals for Ottawa Black.
Yeah, and I think just generally speaking, take away the time of the year that we find ourselves in, looking forward to Vanguard, a lot of encouraging things, I would say, across the entirety of the tournament for so many squads who made it out of groups to get to this top 8 bracket overall, this finals graphic that you see here. Cruelty, Noisy, Lightning, Fame coming through with the hot anime profile pictures, except for Cruelty, who's just a handsome, strapping young man. But that is going to be your CCL Summer Open Cup champions, Ottawa Black. Again, they were the number 2 team throughout the entirety of the CCL season, including playoffs. But here, they will be crowned champs. And, again, just the show that we were treated to throughout the last couple of days has been unbelievable. And it definitely builds excitement to look forward to what will eventually be a Vanguard regular season.
Find myself saying this every single summer shift ever since Black Ops 4. Modern Warfare season's going to kick ass. When we went to Cold War, it's going to kick ass. When we get into Vanguard, dude, I don't even know if my roof is going to be able to handle the amount of just overall value we're going to have from college to college. We're getting recruitments happening across. We're getting people flying from Europe to come over and go to college in North America and compete at the same time. Interested to see what Vickel's going to look like. Dude, this upcoming season, be ready. After wintertime hits, you know that CCL is about to go huge.
It's going to be nuts. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to have a lot of different new schools to learn a lot about. One of them, of course, at the top of the conversation will surely be SEU Blue. That, of course, comes to the conclusion of the Summer Cup and our coverage of it. There's a lot more to come. I know a lot of you guys out there saying, September COD, this, that, and the other thing. We've got more stuff coming through the fall and the early parts of the winter. So it's not just this. So make sure you stay tuned for more stuff coming up with the CCL. You can find information by, of course, staying in touch with us on Twitter, where a lot of announcements will be coming through. But most importantly, be a part of the community in the Discord, where a lot of the schedule does get revealed, and you have the chance to go back and forth with a lot of our staff management, and of course, beyond that, the players themselves. So that's where you can find all the information and what's to come next, but that will do it for our coverage here. Again, a massive congratulations to Ottawa Black on the 3-0 here in the grand finals, become your Summer Cup Open champions. And, well, commiserations for SEU Blue, but a lot to look forward to from that squad. For Proper, myself, Sport, and Benji on the backside, we say farewell for now there, friends. And until next time, hope you guys keep holding it down. So long.